Hello, everybody. Welcome to Elevator Pitches Episode 3. Today we are talking about monopolies because that is needed for a school project. It will be stopping at around 10 minutes, and I hope you enjoy the conversation. We're going to start off with Amazon, and Nick is going to bring us through because he knows plenty about pissing into plastic bottles.
I most certainly do, given that I have a pile in my room of various size bottles that I do not know what to do with. Anyway, I am disturbed that you know that, but
Okay.
eh,
Well, I mean, I was making a joke about you being an Amazon worker, but you go, girl.
fair enough. Anyway, Amazon. Okay, the big unholy trinity of online shopping services.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Though now the label is monopoly, outright is it's just Amazon has a very interesting business model for where they don't exactly like they're not like your atypical retail stores where okay they have their own they host their own stores, okay, they have to pay for that, and then they're given product by other companies, and that can determine the price of where certain time because some retail chains have to have the price increase a certain amount in order for them to actually make enough money to keep the store open and keep selling product. Amazon doesn't have to worry about that, and they can basically sell stuff at insanely cheap prices, at least relatively speaking to any other stores, or that's not considering sales, not considering coupons. God, don't even get me started on coupons. But it's interesting just on the grounds that okay, so here you have a company that has a wide variety and a wide selection of different companies, kind of, I guess you could say, underneath Amazon, because that's usually what Amazon does is buy out companies, and then they're kind of just not as subsidiaries, but just it's weird to explain. It's weird to describe it, but if that's the gist of it. It's just okay. You got these smaller companies that are kind of under the Amazon umbrella that provide the product, and then all Amazon really does is just ship it. That's literally all they do.
And
Of
another
course,
thing Amazon does when a company refuses to allow them to compete is like when a company refuses to sell their products to Amazon, Amazon will go and buy a company that'll produce a cheaper version and they'll sell it as a loss in order to make it so that the other person can make no sales. They will purposefully put people off of their platform through buying and selling things that are at ridiculously low prices in such a way that they are taking away from other companies' ability to compete. Basically, they'll just take the loss in the short term to gain a monop- gain a monopoly against smaller companies.
pricey. You're giving me anxiety with that.
Sorry, I was
But
stuttering like a bitch.
okay. Anyway, because that's kind of like that's basically what Walmart does. Fucking Wally World undersells the competition in an effort to. There's stories, not many stories of that happening in Walmart is a great example because it's an actual retail store, so it's even more just I could say just devious because it's uh because everybody goes into the Walmart. It's like everything is so cheap. It's like yeah, that's part of it, except for a few select things where they kind of that's the thing. It's nice. Certain items will be same price across all platforms and all stores, and that's usually the company kind of strong arming or these distributors. Let's say it feels like I'm talking about drugs, but distributors, and it's like yeah, okay, that's pretty all right. But still, there's other ones that just they don't really. get to enforce it, and that's where you get cases where okay, one item can be at this store for this price. Meanwhile, Walmart is underselling that by a fair margin, like $2 or $3. It is a very
Yeah.
evil practice.
And also, Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, is currently buying up American farmland and then selling produce at prices lower than any farmer can possibly sell at and still make a profit. And he's doing that to undercut and then buy more farmland.
Well,
And
that
his,
it's I think it's a kind of the strat. Even though it's usually sell cheaper, sell more for cheaper. Most of the time that doesn't pan out, but usually if you're big enough of a company, usually it does pan out.
yeah,
Uh, Pan out actually,
they've got more ability to take losses than some guy who just owns a farm.
which if that isn't concerning, then I don't know what to tell you. Especially, uh, I would like to have independent farmland, but I don't. Not much you can do if you got the big dick swinging club of Amazon is putting billions of dollars towards it.
Yeah, that's probably just not gonna happen, you know? They've
I mean,
got so much buying power, it's insane.
if the government would actually do its job, it probably wouldn't have to. Money would not be a factor or a point of contention. It would just be, well, the government of the particular country you are buying a lot of farmland just told you to go. I would just. I'm trying to think of a family friendly way to put this. Tell you to go pop a squat in the nearest watering hole and
Well, if you pop a squat in the nearest watering hole, then you've gotta compete with Nestle, who also has a monopoly. I mean, you really just go to hell once you get into water monopolies. Like, for example, Nestle bought the majority of lakes in Canada, supposedly. And
that's
now they.
surprising. The company that makes freaking chocolate milk products.
Oh, they've got a massive water
Oh
monopoly.
yeah, oh yeah. They don't make just chocolate milk products, but it's just usually me. My childhood is like I only know them for that specific product because of a brown bunny.
I know them because of their human rights violations.
That's a
You got a great little fucking history there with Nestle.
oh yeah. It's like Norfolk Southern for where I live. God damn.
But Nestle here, what they've been doing is they've just been literally taking the water straight from lakes and putting it into bottles and then putting it on shelves. And they've got so many different brands, each undercutting, say, local brands or just trying to make their brand look more up. They're trying to keep up appearances. They're shoving other brands that they also own right next to their product so that their product looks better. It's interesting to say the least.
It's the
It's kind of like
capitalism gone berserk.
when you put an ugly girl next to a hot girl to make her look hotter, you know? Or say you put a fat girl next to an average girl and then all of a sudden she looks good in comparison. It's kind of like that but with capitalist products.
It's all the matter of design and contrasting. It's mind games is all it comes down to. No matter everywhere you look, it's all about mind games on advertising. It doesn't. Not everybody knows it, but they won't talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at advertising and there is, for example, Google has monopoly over advertising.
Oh yes, yes.
They have their advertising works with literally every social media service and nobody does it as cheaply as them because they legitimately can't. They don't
Well,
have the servers to do
Google
so.
has basically made the framework, and well, the thing with Google is that they have their entire development things for all of their products and all their it's a lot different than your normal type of it's a whole other rabbit hole, but it's just the gist of it being that how they develop products and how they push products. They usually it's like they have a small project on the side and then they put that small project out as like kind of like a test, and or they put it out under like some. I think they take the Android itself. It's an open source project, but through it being an open source project, it is grown to be, it's the opposing operating system to Apple.
Yeah, that was
Just because of
honestly a
that,
great
it has
investment.
grown. It has grown to be this the opposing force. Only because it's just they made this. It was a little project they made, and it just grew enough, and enough investment was got put into it, and that applies to basically anything Google does. Like, because you got Google frameworks, if that anybody would that rings a bell to anybody. Well, that's
Well, it does
the
to
name.
programmers.
Yeah, frameworks. It's all the shit that Google provides for you to tinker with. Maybe not literally tinker with, but just hey, you got this. Here's a framework for this. Figure it out. Make a product, or I'm probably doing a terrible job explaining it, but it's it's interesting. It's a other rabbit hole.
And just because we're nearing the end of the time limit, I know that, for example, well, I don't know if we exactly explained monopolies or not. I've honestly forgotten. So I'm just going to explain it again. A monopoly is a company that controls the entirety of an industry and uses that control to outcompete and kill other companies in order to keep that position. And now, since we are towards the end here, it is time for Nick to read his funny.
Oh, actually, let me just add to that. It's basically they corner a specific market to the point that nobody else can compete in that market, and or it makes it that for them to compete in that market, they have to either be a part of that company or they have. It's really messed up. But okay, well, we're going to continue with the funny. We all know Gru is a godly height of 4.5 feet tall and can move at a speed of 200 meters per second. Based on the average dick size, Gru's penis is around 14 inches long. Also, Gru's dick would weigh about 2 pounds considering the average weight of a dick is 0.77 pounds. If he swung his dick in a circular manner, it would have the centripetal acceleration of 72.57 meters per second. This means that Gru can dick slap with the immense energy of 11,421 pounds per square inch at a tip speed greater than 584,415.5 miles per hour. In conclusion, Gru's dick slap is enough energy to smash through 6 inches of reinforced concrete and will cause a thunderclap as his dick breaks the sound barrier. I rest my case.
That's right, everybody knows Gru has a massive cock. Alright, everybody, that is the end.
Farewell.
Goodbye. I rest my case.